All right, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Infinite Abilities Podcast. I'm your host, Nick Yerhart. And today I have a really cool guest with me. She's also a part of my 10X accountability group, and she is also a 10X business coach. So, Teresa, can you tell us exactly who you are?
Sure. Teresa is a businesswoman, entrepreneur, investor, wife, mother, baseball, mom, all the above.
That's amazing. You got a lot going on. And I don't know that because I get to talk to you almost every week. So it's pretty cool.
Yep.
So, what has your life been like since you joined the 10X community?
So for me, what I've experienced is a renewing of who I was, I guess, as a young person before a lot of the trials of life and some of the things that beat you up along the way. They create these challenges for you to overcome, and you start to change, sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse. And for me, I think the biggest shift was when I first started listening to Cardone U and the 10X business training. It helped me to recall who I was, who I am as a person, and to kind of stand in my power in that way. So that's been my biggest shifts thus far, and it just continues as time goes. There's more new discoveries I make about myself that that I'm digesting and that I'm healing from. So that's been my experience thus far.
That's awesome. And yeah, self-discovery, like you said, it's challenging at times to recognize, some of your, faults or whatever you want to call them. I know that from my own experience, but it's how we work through them is what matters. And the fact that we put effort into improving ourselves every day to continue to better our lives, our families' lives, and the people that we impact. It's so powerful.
Absolutely. This is actually one of my favorite shirts. I don't know if you can see it, but it's the 10X Success is My Duty. It kind of reminds me on a daily basis that it is my duty to be successful, not only for myself, but my family. And, life is challenging. There's things that happen all the time, and you can get tired and wore down very quickly. And with this little reminder, it reminds me that no matter how hard it is, I need to step up. It's my duty. I need to step up, not only for myself, but for my children who, are going through the same path, just at a different level. And I try to equip them with the tools I have now that I wish I had then to help build not only good people, good character, but also good assets to society as well, so that they're contributing and they're looking out for others and they're helping as well.
I love that. And, that's a testament to the amazing mother that you are.
Oh, thank you.
So that's incredible. And, your shirt, it says, success is my duty. That's one of Grant Cardone's quotes. And actually the whole quote is, success is my duty, obligation, and responsibility. And yeah, it is your responsibility to provide for your family the best life that you can. And that's super powerful. So yeah, I love that you use that to, motivate you every day. That's incredible. I do the same thing, so that's awesome. So as far as business, what do you do?
So I currently am a business broker and a commercial real estate agent for the state of New York. I'm licensed in New York. This position actually came out of a prior career that I had, which was entrepreneurship, which was something that I did not plan. I just kind of stumbled into and fell in love with. I started my first business in 2012, and the kids were just born, but it actually fit our lifestyle the best because we were working oil. We're an oil field family, so we work on the road, and we were moving a lot. And I discovered that there was a huge need in the market for supplies for these gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen in the industry, and decided that I was going to do something about it. And this is a testament to something that Grant talks a lot about, is just making a commitment and going with it. Not, you don't necessarily have to plan out your entire life because things happen, you know. And I actually went to school for architectural drafting and design. I love, you know, the whole design and concept. But what I actually took from it was the engineering portion. And it served me very well in the operations portion of business. So I look at business operations and systems very much in a engineering mindset, with how, you know, one piece affects the next to the next to the next. And we built out a system similar to engineering systems like MEP systems. So so I built that business with my babies. They were 6 months old and a year and a half. And the incredible thing about that business that really kind of gave me, I guess, a little confidence in what I was doing, is that I was able to build that business very quickly. We did 600,000 between October and the end of the year. So October to December, we did 600,000 in sales. And then we did $1 million the following season. And then we did $2 million the following season and $3 million the following season. But I contribute that to building proper systems and putting those processes in place and building a machine, so to speak, of how we operate. And then we opened up, we kind of duplicated each year. After the first year, we opened another store. And then the second year, we opened another store. And each store ran at about $1 million in revenue annually, consistently. And we did that for about 10 years, and then decided to make a shift. So one of the harder lessons that I learned while I was running that business is that when opportunity knocks at the door, it may only knock once, and you should be prepared. And I was not prepared. The opportunity to sell this business came at about 3 years in, and I had 3 different individuals who approached me about selling, but I did not know enough about selling to make a good decision. And the second lesson I learned from that was that I really needed a mentor in that time. So it's a true testament to having coaches and having mentors in place that can support you and help you go to the next level. So I think I would have made a different decision then if I had the right people in place. Excuse me. And, but yeah, so it is, you know, the way that it worked out is the way that it worked out. And I'm grateful for it because there's definitely a lot of lessons that I learned. And what my hope is to be able to take those lessons that I learned and help other people who may be in the same position or may not even know that they're going to be in the same position, and get ahead of it and help them to succeed in the sales and exiting process.
Yep. You know, exactly. You know, as a coach, you know, what we do is we take our past experiences and help others navigate through that and save themselves from the mistakes that we made. All right, so yeah, that's what's, you know, important about having a mentorship is, you know, you can, you know, navigate things a lot better because you have support and you have people that have gone through what you're going through, so you can avoid some of the mistakes that they might have made, so now you don't have to.
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes you just need someone to talk to that understands what you're going through. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of times in the entrepreneurial journey, your friends and family may not be on the same journey when you first start. And it's hard to, I guess, express how you're feeling about things and, what's working, what's not working, and get good feedback. I know I turned to my husband and for a lot of questions, but he didn't know how to help because he had never
Mm-hmm.
gone through those experiences and kind of just felt like he had to fix it, but couldn't, so.
Yep. 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 Exactly. So, and what's remarkable about your story is you built your first business as a new mom. You had a, a baby to deal with.
Mhm.
So, what were the challenges, having a newborn and building a business? What were some of the challenges that you faced that you might have learned how to adapt and overcome?
I would say the first thing that pops to my mind is this funny story. When you have the babies there, of course, they're your highest priority. And then when you have a customer, they become a priority as well. And one time, I had a customer come in and he said, "Do you remember me?" And I said, "Oh," because I actually, for the first, I think 150 people, I remembered names. After about 150, I started to slowly lose
Yep.
track of everyone. But I said, "I'm sorry, I don't." He says, "The first time I met you, you were changing a poopy diaper."
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Oh, that's
I
great.
started
That's
laughing.
great.
And so that was actually one of the challenges, I think, is that there's certain things that are on demand when it comes to babies and children that
Mm-hmm.
you need to address right then and there. And no matter what's going on around you. And
Mm-hmm.
the you kind of just have to go with the flow with that. I actually thought it was a detriment to my company. I used to think in the beginning, like, oh gosh, this is such a hindrance having the babies here. But I would rather
Mm-hmm.
have them there because there wasn't support in the community for like daycare and things like that. And I wanted to make sure
Yep.
that they were safe. So they were with me. And
Mm-hmm.
the it turns out to be just the opposite. After they started to get to school age, they would be at school during the day. And I had gentlemen coming in looking for them. So where's the babies? And, of
Mm-hmm.
course, and I thought it was a nuisance, but it actually, because a lot of these people working in the oil field are working away from home. So,
Mm-hmm.
they actually enjoy seeing the family and everyone together and the babies. So,
Yep.
so actually, it turned out to be a benefit. So I guess in that way, it's not always what you think is the reality. In my perception,
Yeah.
I thought it was a nuisance at first, and then once I started to talk to customers and hear like the feedback, I realized that they actually enjoyed seeing the kids when they come in. So that was
Yep.
a pleasant surprise. Um, I would say another difficult thing was coordination with getting them to and from school because my husband worked on the road as well. So when we started there, his day would start, 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and he wouldn't get home until about 8, 9 o'clock at night. So
Mm-hmm.
he wasn't available to help coordinate children, and just sometimes, unfortunately, if we were understaffed, I would have to put a sign on the door and run out the door and get them and run back. So I think that was
Yeah.
another challenge that we had to overcome by properly making sure that we had staff available so that, and it's not just for me, for them as well, because they have children too.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
that
Yep.
that was definitely something that I had to learn to figure out, not only for myself but for others who are coordinating little people.
Yep. And I know how difficult it can be, when children are around. But like you said, it's all about figuring out how to make it work. You
Yeah.
know, like my best friend and business partner, Kyle, he's got two little girls, and he's a single parent, full time. So the girls are always around. So when we're working together, we gotta make sure that we also take time for them, and then if we have to get something done, make sure that they're occupied for a little bit. But and like there, there's times that I'll be making a video for social media, and one of them will holler, but it's like that's life, That's life. That's okay. But I just keep going, and it doesn't matter, you know.
Right. Yeah.
So it's
Because
just
at the end of the day, it's such a small thing. And,
yeah,
it's the bigger things that really count. So some things you just
exactly,
have to brush off and let roll off your shoulders.
exactly. So, what was one like milestone that sticks out that you had to overcome?
Within business,
Yeah.
oh, that's a great question. I think I think one of the bigger things that is difficult to overcome is relinquishing control. When you
Mm,
first start, especially if you're building from ground up and it's just you, like knowing when to hire the next person and giving them the reins in your
mm-hmm,
absence. I think
mm-hmm,
personally, putting the proper systems in place and training and support for them, but then also making sure that you're paying attention to what's going on when you're not there. I think that those are all important aspects to having your team come in. But I think that one of my larger challenges on the higher end of that spectrum is when it was time to hire a general manager. I had a team of 15 people. I had managers at each store who were in charge of the staff. And my father had actually gotten sick, and he was in Florida. So in 2015, I dropped everything and went to Florida. However, knowing I just found out that he was sick, and I had about 3 weeks before he was going in for a major surgery, and we were concerned that we were going to lose him. And so I hired a general manager out of emergency, and I trained her as well as I could. Fortunately, we had manuals in place and we had people in place, and she was one that was learning kind of last minute, and it was very rushed. And I, gave her everything, trained her as much as I could in those 3 weeks, and then ran off to Florida to be with my dad. I did work from Florida to support her, but we had an issue where a hire for one of our stores was stealing. And in our retail, we supplied safety supply, or I'm sorry, oil and gas safety supplies, but we've supplied FR clothing, which is flame resistant clothing,
mm-hmm.
which is a little bit more expensive than just regular workwear. Work
Yeah.
jacket could be $300 a piece. Actually, I should
Mm-hmm.
say could be. They are $300 a piece just for the flame resistant jackets. And we had about $3,000 worth of apparel come up missing. And
Mm-hmm.
and I ran back and I jumped back in and got in the way when I really should have let her handle it. So I think that that is a challenge for most entrepreneurs, is relinquishing that control and letting them make those mistakes and learn through them, the same as we had to as we were building the company. So I would say that was definitely one of my bigger challenges.
And like you said, that's a challenge that a lot of people face, and some people don't get through that, and they they hold on to that control, and then they don't end up growing, at least not as quickly as they could,
Right.
because they have to have that control, and they don't trust others to take over for them, and that can really hurt a business.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because it causes burnout for the owner. And if they
Yep.
can't make that shift, then they will just burn out and end up shutting down.
Hmm. Exactly. So, what is your favorite part of our accountability group or the calls? What's your favorite part?
Well, what I actually found to be an absolute lifesaver to me in having a group to for support. Um, so, like I kind of referred to earlier, I don't necessarily have support at home in the business world because my husband is actually a business owner now, but he and I don't see things the same. So I actually just had an instance where I went to him for support, and unfortunately, he didn't hold the space for me. And I was able to go to the accountability group and share the same thing, and the space was made for me, and it actually helped me get through a portion that I needed to get through. So in that way, I feel like it's been a lifesaver because it's a part of my growth process, just like, everyone's growth process is to learn from your mistakes and let them go. And what I learned is that I've been carrying things with me that have been holding me back. So
Yeah.
I think that's probably my favorite thing is that I can depend on you and Gary and Allison and Ryan and
Yeah.
Tammy to
Hmm.
to be there in a 10x manner, not just to show up,
Hmm.
but also to show up in your best selves. So I feel like that's a huge benefit.
Yep. And I'm so glad that you joined the group. You've been in the group for what, about 4 or 5 weeks? Is that
Uh,
right?
yeah, I would say, yeah, maybe 3 or 4.
Yeah. So yeah, it's great to have you in the group,
Well, thank
and
you.
I was excited when I seen you pop in because I had seen you on our other calls. So it's nice that we finally get to know each other and all that. So it's really awesome.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I was very excited to see you as well. The I had heard a lot about you, but didn't have an opportunity to speak with you yet. So it's been really great being in there with you guys.
Oh yeah, for sure. All right. So what does my slogan, "Your abilities are infinite," mean to you?
Your abilities are infinite. It means
Hmm.
that you can do anything you set your mind to.
Exactly. As simple as that. I love that, and that's how I think of it too. Just you can do anything that you set your mind to. It's
Absolutely.
just amazing. All right. So if people want to reach out to you, where can they find you?
So the best way to reach me would be my website. It is it is I just drew a blank. I'm so sorry. it's
All good. I do all the time.
it's dingconsulting.com.
Awesome. And I'll put that in the show notes so everybody can find you.
Okay, perfect. I do, just a
I,
side note, I do have to finish setting it up. I had it
yeah, I'm
switched.
I'm working on my website right now,
Are
so
you?
don't worry.
We're in the same
Yeah,
spot.
yeah, yeah, we are. But yeah, so yeah, it was great to have you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. I hope
Of
you have a
course.
wonderful rest of your day.
You too. All right, everyone, that was another episode of the Infinite Abilities podcast. I'll see you on the next one. And remember, your abilities are infinite